Hi and Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 7 and will present Haccp video presentation Atlantis Blue Mussels.
Next is CCP. CCP stands for Critical Control Point. In the context of food security, a CCP is a step of the food production process where a hazard can be prevented, eliminated, or reduced to an acceptable level. Identifying and controlling the CCP is an important part of ensuring food safety and preventing foodborne illness. The process of identifying CCPs involves conducting a hazard analysis of the production process from raw material to finished product. Once identified, CCP are then monitored and controlled through various measures such as temperature control, sanitation practices, and testing for contaminants. Implementing and maintaining a CCP system is a key component of ensuring food safety and reducing the risk of foodborne illness. This approach is often used in the food industry to comply the regulation and standards set by government agencies and industry organizations.
Critical limit is a maximum or minimum value to which a biological, chemical or physical parameter that must be controlled at a CCP to prevent, eliminate or reduce to an acceptable level the occurrence of food safety hazard. In different processing steps, there are the same or slightly differences in application of critical limits. For example, if the mussels are collected or harvested in areas that are contaminated from chemical or pathogen contamination, it must not be accepted. But if the mussels are harvested in areas that are contaminated with natural toxin, certification in ensuring the mussels are toxin-free is required. If the product are required for storage, in example, the product are raw, finished, or need to be shipped, it must be stored in less than 10 degrees Celsius in the refrigerator. Also, it is also needed to be not exposed outside the refrigerator not longer than 4 hours maximum. So in decision trees for CCP, there are few questions that need to be asked and also to be checked. So the first question is, do control measures exist for the identified hazards? If it's yes, then we have to move to the next question. If it's no, then is control at this step necessary for the safety? If it's no, then it is not a CCP, so we have to stop the production. If it's yes, then we have to modify the step, processes, or product. So if the first question is a yes, so the second question will be, does this step eliminate or reduce the likely occurrence of a hazard to an acceptable level? If it's yes, then we have to proceed with CCP. If it's not, then we have to move to the third question, which is, could contamination with identified hazards occurs in excess of acceptable levels, or could this increase to an unacceptable levels? So if it's no, then it is not a CCP. So we have to stop. Then if it's a yes, then will a subsequent step eliminate identified hazards or reduce the likely occurrence to an acceptable level, which is the fourth question. So if it's no, then we have to proceed with the CCP. If it's yes, then it is not a CCP, so it doesn't require a CCP.
Next, for monitoring procedure for mussel processing, the first one is receiving. For each lot or batch, we need to determine the harvest area before accepting the shellfish from a new area and as often after that as necessary to ensure the accuracy. Find out whether each harvest area is closed due to a chemical contamination, natural toxin or pathogen. If required, obtain the certification that each batch is toxin-free. The second one is a raw material storage. Equip each refrigerator with a temperature indicating device such as thermometer, or maintain a temperature log that notes temperature with a sufficient frequency to achieve control. Next is equip each refrigerator with a temperature recording device, a high temperature alarm, or a maximum indicating thermometer. Next is a finished product storage, and it will be the same description as a raw material storage. And for the last one is shipping. Monitoring procedure may include the use of temperature indicating and a recording device, maximum indicating thermometer, high temperature alarm, temperature or ice sheet during shipping, receive checks for internal and ambient temperature of a sufficient of ice, and standardized and validated icing procedure.
Hi, so today I would like to talk about the 7 HACCP principles for our group products, which is muscles. So the first one is to conduct a hazard analysis, and it is to identify the potential hazards that associate with our muscles product, which are physical, biological, or chemical hazards. Next is we have to identify the critical control points. We have to consider steps in the production process where control measures can prevent, eliminate, or reduce identified hazards. The third is establish the critical limits. So we have to establish measurable criteria for each CCP and indicating the maximum or minimum value to ensure food safety. Critical limits may include temperature, time, pH, or moisture contents. And the fourth is establish monitoring procedures. We have to develop procedures to regularly observe and record CCP. We have to specify who, what, when, or how the monitoring will be conducted. Next is establish corrective actions, which means we have to identify the responsibilities for taking corrective actions. We have to specify procedures to bring back the process under control. Next is establish verification procedures. We have to develop activities and tests to verify the effectiveness of our HACCP plan, and we have to verify that the system is working as intended. Plus, we have to regularly review the records, conduct audits, or perform microbial testing. The last one is establish record keeping and documentation. So we have to establish and maintain records related to the CCP, including hazard analysis, corrective actions, and verification procedures. This is to ensure the records are accurate, up-to-date, and accessible.
The first step of HACCP is assemble HACCP team. It should be multidisciplinary and include individuals from areas such as maintenance, production, sales, sanitation, quality assurance, food microbiology, and shipping. Next, the second step of HACCP is describe the product. The product that we choose is mussels. Then, the name of the product is Atlantis blue mussels. The type of product was a frozen food, and it's a raw material live mussels. And the method and processing cooking is raw, lightly cooked, and fully cooked. The packaging is in the plastic bag, plastic container, and clean box. Next is the storage of this product have to be refrigerated in the optimum temperature, which is 4 to 8 degrees Celsius, and the shelf life of this product is in 3 months. The third step of HACCP is to identify the intended use and consumers of the food. The intended use of the food should be based upon the normal use by consumers. And the intended use product is intended to be consumed live, steamed, or fully cooked. The fourth step in HACCP is construct the flow diagram. First is receiving. The live shell store of mussels are received directly from harvester in tag bag. The mussels are harvested from approved waters. Next is the raw material storage, which is the mussels are either processed immediately or stored dry in mechanically refrigerated coolers, which are maintained below 10 degrees Celsius. Next is declumping. Mussels declump mechanically or by hand. And next is washing, where the mussels wash with clean water. So next is culling or grading, where the broken muscles will be removed by hand and the size of muscles will be hand graded and no food additives are used. Next is packaging or labeling, where the bag are placed and tagged. The finished product storage, which is the muscles, are stored dry in mechanically refrigerated coolers which are maintained below 10 degrees Celsius. And lastly is shipping, where the lift muscles are shipped in refrigerated trucks and carry below 10 degrees Celsius also during the shipping.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Haccp Malik at 61564. Now I can present about the next 12 step to develop a Haccp plan. On number 5, on-site confirmation of flow diagram. The Haccp team should perform an on-site review of the operation to verify the accuracy and completeness of the flow diagram, and modifications should be made to diagram as needed. After these first 5 preliminary tasks have been completed, the following 7 principles of Haccp are applied. On number 6, conduct a hazard analysis. Principle 1. At this point, the Haccp team conduct a hazard analysis and identifies appropriate control measure. The process of conducting a hazard analysis involves 2 stages. First is hazard identification. Second is hazard evaluation. On hazard identification, based on this review, the team develops a list of potential biological, chemical, or physical hazards which may be introduced, increased, or controlled at each step in the production process. On hazard evaluation, each potential hazard occurring and decides which ones must be addressed in the Haccp plan. On number 7, determine critical control points (CCPs) on principle 2. A critical control point is defined as a step at which control can be applied essential to prevent food safety, hazard or reduce it to an acceptable level. The potential hazards that are reasonably cause illness or injury in the absence of their control must be addressed in determining CCPs. CCPs may include chilling, thermal processing, product formulation control, testing ingredients for chemical residues, and testing product for metal contaminants. Last but not least is on number 8, establish critical limits for each CCP. Principle 3. A critical limit is used to distinguish between safe and unsafe operating conditions at a CCP. Critical limits should not be confused with operational limits which are established for reasons other than food safety. Critical limits may be based upon factors such as temperature, time, physical dimensions, humidity, moisture level, water activity, pH, tetrable acidity, salt concentration, available chlorine, viscosity, preservative, sensory information such as aroma and visual appearance. Critical limits must be scientifically based. For each CCP, there is at least one criterion for food safety that is to be met. That's all. We'll continue with 4th principle. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shami at 63181. Next, establish monitoring procedure. Observation is to determine whether or not a CP is under control. The observation are used to assess whether corrective action is necessary. We concentrate the following requirement: keeping track of the salt levels in brine solution, monitoring the pH of an acidic product used in sardine fermentation, monitoring line speed when necessary for adequate safety and bacterial growth prevention, monitoring residual chlorine level in water used in the manufacturing of canned sardine product. Establish deviation procedure. Corrective action are taken when a critical limit is exceeded. Identify and rectify the steps that prevent potentially dangerous food from entering the food chain. Identification of problems in order to ensure that they do not reoccur. In circumstances where CCP is out of control and crucial limits, we have gone above and beyond the scheduled actions. The importance of explicit corrective action process and a chain of command was emphasized. Establish verification procedures. Haccp certified initial validation, ongoing verification activities, reassessment of the HACCP plan, reassessment of hazard analysis. Establish record keeping. Accurate record keeping not only reduces the stress of the HACCP certification process and issue inspections, but it is also the most effective approach to demonstrate compliance with the legal standard. HACCP plan summary table. First step in the process that are CCP, the hazard of concern, critical limit, monitoring, correction action, verification procedure schedule, and record keeping procedure. That's all from me. Thank you.
That's all from Group 7. Thank you for watching.